This game I think is helpful for me, but I actually forgot to record until 2-4, so it's missing some of the early game.
I don't think you had to slam here. Yeah, I was just thinking that when you made the stone plate, like, isn't
Oh,
there some chance you face two weak players?
and then that way I
There's,
could.
there's
Mhm.
what's up? Yeah,
I,
and there's some chance maybe you're Spark, right? With a cloak.
yeah,
Oh, Zoe.
I guess I should be scouting. I don't think I ever sell the Zoe, right? Like, because I guess if I hold the
No, I
Zoe, I'm
think you
not
play
making
it.
20.
Oh yeah, see, you could have gotten away with having chain and cloak in your pocket as
Yeah,
opposed to as a stone plate here.
yeah.
Yeah, I would just like try to autopilot that less because um it's easy to get into the habit of slamming, but you don't really have to. Garen. Um, Phew. I'm pretty sure you have to play Force Orc here, right? Because you have no backline
So
items right now.
don't play Garen.
Oh, you play Garen with you don't play the it's two watcher Force Orc, I would imagine, because I
Oh,
mean I
and
don't know what
just
it's on
forget
six just
about
yet, but
emissary.
like you could, right? Like I would imagine your best board right now is as many backliners. Without the item drops, it's your board is starving for backline, right? Like right here, your board probably wants to look like two frontliner units and four backliners. Right? If you just think of the balance of your items in your units, you
Right.
basically need four backliners.
Yeah, especially since I have two frontline items. Okay. I guess I just normally, unless I'm playing built diff, like never consider playing like non one or four emissary, except when I like make an egregious mistake.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I think I mean definitely like it's more of the exception than the norm. But your board is an exception. Your board is all frontline items and literally zero backline items.
Yeah.
Obviously, we still have the Krugs coming up, but like with some expectation here, there's a chance you don't get to slam a backline item here. These are just all RNG items here.
And I would also be like extremely poor. Because here I'm like thinking, okay, I should just make 30.
You can sell the GPs, right? Yeah, you make 30 with the GPs. I guess it could have been a zero gold Krugs, but yeah, I would sell left side. I wouldn't. Oh, I guess you'd have to sell the. See, like, I don't really want the slam GS here. I mean, I guess you could, but uh, I'm not so happy making a GS here. Yeah, like here. What even is the best board here? I guess this is not far from it. Mm, it's probably Zoe over Zyra,
Yeah.
and then I think, and then hmm.
So you have kept the Zoe there.
Because you could have leveled here as well, right? Like, I'm trying to think how much gold would you have lost from the interest? Because you're in a 3 streak. To be fair, a 4 streak is not like that insane, and someone could roll in 3-2 and ruin your streak.
Yeah.
But because if you level here, you have 4 Sork backline. Mm, but then you're dipping the. Okay, you dip to like 20. Can you make 30 if you. Let's see. Sell the GPs, you're 45. You could make 30, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably better.
That it would depend on matchups. You would have to scout and look
Right. At
to
least in
see
this
exactly.
matchup, it would have made fight diff.
Yeah, definitely. You just play no emissary for Sork 2 Watcher.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I really need to be scouting more. I like how the last game I made the play that I should have made here.
Yeah, the level. Oh, and you sell the Zoe now. How what is your next in then? Oh, I get. Oh, okay, never mind. I guess because you're already committed to not playing around 2 emissary. That yeah, you're not down to
Yeah.
play 4. Okay, it's fine. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
and then here because I already have the Garen and the Nami, and I have a 2-star whatchamacallit, Vladimir. I'm thinking I can just play Dark Alley dealings toward M-Pesa. Although I have an open sword, but like no good M-Pesa items for that.
Hmm.
Or I could go Artifactory.
We only have stone plate. I feel like we don't have enough items to justify Artifactory.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, roll right, and then I mean I can see it dark, but it's just I feel like you have such few items that it leaves me in the spot. It leaves me thinking like, is this going to be an emissary board where we're like naked all the units, which doesn't sound very good to me. Like for me, emissary board is way more like you want a million items, a bunch of gold, usually from like from the portal, like the scuttle puddle. In this Dark Alley Dealings pick here, I guess it gives you 2 items, but like Trickster is not really even an item that you know for the emissary units. And then yeah, that's just I mean I would roll right first, I guess, and then see. I think. Let me just I think you roll right.
I do
I don't
have
think it's
gold
really.
from Pilfer.
Yeah, I mean it's only half the condition though, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
for emissary, but yeah. What units do we have here again? We have just Garen and a bunch of Sorks, right? Because I'm thinking if there's any like crazy artifacts we could hit, but you don't have any real artifact abuser at the moment. Yeah, so no. I don't think it's Tiniest Titan either. So then roll middle.
And from that scout, it looked like nobody else was going emissary.
Yeah, I agree with that. It didn't look like any units really emissary. Maybe this.
Maybe this
Yeah,
guy.
no. Yeah, probably. Yeah, me could, but I agree with your. I think it was a good scout, and I agree with your assessment that it's not likely people will contest your Mbessa.
Yeah. I also have not really taken the Zeeks. I guess that's like better. I mean, that's okay on emissary, right? I guess Ambessa you don't want to be in the back.
I think it's better on Ambusher for sure. Yeah, I haven't been taking that much either, except for in Ambusher lines. Or like another exception I've seen is when Academy gives you IE and JG. There's like one specific one that's IE JG. There's also a Guard Breaker JG one. And like if you have an IE, then like that one can be pretty good.
Okay.
But yeah, I wouldn't take it here.
Do you ever just position Garen in the back here?
Yeah, people typically do that when you have the trench. Like eventually with Mbessa, you definitely do that. But in the current board, I think I still would. Yeah, I would just sack the 100 HP and the guy, the Vlad.
So with Ambessa, you just solo frontline her?
Yeah. You play this Elise for sure. How do you play this? Probably backline Elise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna need more damage.
Yeah, you have no backline, right? Like your DPS is one. Yeah, I feel like this board is just you're lacking a lot of damage. Yeah, we're taking big. I mean, this guy's level 730, but I feel like we could be killing a lot more units if you just play like since 3-1 or since like 2-7. It just didn't feel like we were catering like the units you were holding. And on this round as well, we're not really like playing around what like what the board is asking us to play around. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like balancing front and back line.
Yeah, based on your items and what units. Yeah, like here, I don't see a reason to have frontline at least.
Mm-hmm. I think how I got there was I was thinking I don't want to waste the Garen value. If anything, I should just swap Elise and Ziggs, right? So I get scrap value.
You could still get Garen value, right? You just put it second row.
Oh,
Second row with But yeah, I guess you're saying it's just I don't think I think the Garen value is like so secondary to
more damage.
the main issue with this board, which is that you have no damage.
Are you okay with the Styrex slam here, just in preparation for?
You definitely want it. Yeah, you definitely. I'm just not sure if you're again meant to level here on 3-5. because you lose a bunch of gold again.
Yeah, I do that a lot with just like 30 gold plus.
Like, I mean, I think when you're on a win streak, it makes sense. But on a loss streak,
I think
it's
that
just
was
a. I
actually
mean,
a thing that Massian suggested, even on a one loss,
going
uh,
to 30,
just to like have high.
save
I
HP.
guess part of it is save HP higher because you get what 1, 2, 3 more rounds of 4 cost odds, which sometimes I feel
I
like
guess the thing is, it's also powder. It's powder minus 10 HP, so like that is more in the direction of wanting to save HP for sure.
Mhm.
So I can see it in that regard, but yeah, you do get better odds for your shops, but it's just I don't know. 3 gold is like not zero,
Okay,
which is what
so
you lost, right? You lose. You don't make 50 here. You don't make 40 the previous round. You don't make 50 here.
I should really be scout more actively to like see if it's really that worth it. Because I do that almost every time right now.
A lot of it depends too on how expensive your comp is, which this one is, right? Like
Oh
you do
yeah,
have Pilfer, I guess. So it's a little less like painful to lose these thresholds, but I don't feel like we're that rich for this comp. 50 HP, but like such that like 3 gold is so welcome here.
mm-hmm.
You definitely have to make that. What is this then? This is like a. You don't have shred. Probably a last whisper backline then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, or aren't we? You just decided to scrap, I guess. I feel like you could. Okay, at least you won, but I feel like you could easily slam an item here.
So I really want to save that sword for Edge of Night, right?
Yes, which is why I was thinking you could go like last whisper and then
Dip.
you could, yeah, if you really wanted to just be as strong as possible, you can just adaptive the Garen. But the thing is, you typically, I guess you could second roll the Garen, but like it'd be annoying if you try to. So if you third roll the Garen, then your adaptive is giving you mana instead of resistance.
Right. So from what we've talked about previously, like I have econ, I have items, so I basically want team combat, which is middle.
Left is also combat. It's like item plus combat, right? 10 mana is not nothing. 10 AD is also like pretty good. This comp kind of wants items, right?
Right.
I'm kind of leaning towards left. Like, yeah, middle is combat.
That lets me make Last Whisper and scrap the sword.
Yeah, and then your sword is like you're going for your GA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like you still want items on your backliners as well in this comp, and it's like a hybrid item combat thing, right? Spears.
Right. Yep.
I don't know if that applies to your clones, the 10 mana. I actually would assume it would, but I don't know. You're also not that rich, so even though you already have Pilfer, your spot is just not that rich, such that Golden Find doesn't even sound that bad to me. But
I also have not taken the Golden Find. I feel like, I guess I probably undervalue the 10 free rerolls.
oh, that's so much gold, right? 20 gold is a lot. Obviously, like it's backloaded, but like I take this when when the spot calls for it when you're poor, right? When you need the gold to hit your board, you're contested and you need to roll right away, like stuff like that. It's just generic econ is how I view it.
Okay, so like this emissary board seems to be, or maybe Fast 9 seems to be the exception to the rule of like wanting team combat here because it's so expensive that the argument would be that if you are able to hit the full board, you don't need the team combat because the like unit strength across the board is just going to be that much stronger than most other boards.
In my mind, I feel like it's more so that this comp needs 4 augments. And you typically play it in Scuttle Puddle because you get the 4th augment from the orbs.
Uh-huh.
And that's why we're in this spot. This spot is like basically asking us to click on, like, ideally you take both Spears and Golden Find here, but but the thing is, and that's because it's not Scuttle Puddle. That's why I think this comp is way more so like a Scuttle Puddle line. But yeah, that's why this comp, it's not so much that this comp is an exception and that you want the gold. You can, I think it's that you actually need both in this current spot, but you obviously you can't take both, and so it's a matter of given your last contested. I will say that makes Golden Find less appealing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm a little more Spears will, but at the same time, like, I just don't know again if because your trench coat, I'd be very cautious with clicking powered shields here if you didn't know. I have no idea if this applies on my trench coat clones. I'll be curious now. We can watch if you take this, but oh, Sag, okay.
That's very sad I didn't hit an Ambessa.
We could have waited a little bit, right?
Waited
Like
to roll?
yeah. Also, we didn't make last whisper. I'm surprised you. Yeah, but you could have waited a bit to roll. I feel like because you're
Like,
uncontested,
stop.
you didn't quite like give yourself the advantage of playing uncontested.
I see. Wait until everyone else takes the 4 costs out.
Yeah, just wait a little bit. Like, you level here, boom, and then just wait like 10 seconds, 20, 15 seconds. Like,
Oh.
yeah, a lot of people do that. I've seen replay do that. I think, yeah, I'm sure if people in the YouTube comments have taken this long to watch this whole video, like, people will also say like, yeah, it's something that a lot of people will do, which I think you should. If you're playing uncontested and it's 4-2, like, ideally you're uncontested, you can roll on 4 or 5 is like really the best scenario.
Yeah.
Because then you're truly uncontested, assuming no one holds random BS on their bench. But in this spot,
enough,
you can
right?
still, but yeah. And so then you're not healthy enough, so you have to roll 4-2. But what you do is you just wait.
Okay.
Like 10 seconds. Obviously, you're giving yourself less time, but if you're so committed to this line, like, you don't really need that much time to like.
And do you stop
on
rolling at like 10 gold there?
Oh, here I'm not. I'm more so like looking for stability, not really gold thresholds. And you are pretty far off, so I'm fine with like rolling super deep here.
But definitely the last whisper over the IE.
Yeah, it looks like you were just kind of strapped for time, so you just slammed whatever. I guess is my best guess.
Yeah, I was also thinking eventually I want Corky, and I feel like IE is better than Last Whisper, but maybe
Is
that's
it?
not true.
Are you sure? I feel
I
like
don't know.
I feel like no shred IE is probably worse than. Sorry, it's just like the whole combination. Last Whisper and Sterak's trench coat is way better than IE no shred Sterak's trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
Just like your overall DPS, I feel like will be way higher.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, your IE isn't even multiplied by anything, right? It's multiplied by a sword scrap.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just this Ambessa is nowhere to be found.
Forgot to put in the Corky over the Ziggs for like 2 rounds. And then this guy ended up with an Ambessa too.
Oh, he trench coated out of nowhere. Oh, he did. If this guy we were saying could maybe contest it. Honestly, I feel like I would have sold everything. I would have sold all this trash. I like go back to 4-2. I feel like I would have just sold the. I wouldn't have bought the LeBlanc. Maybe it's wrong. I wouldn't have bought the Civica. I would just put in the Vi. Like, we didn't buy Vi. which I feel like is. Did you buy the Vi or no? If you didn't buy Vi, which is insane to me. Like Vi is typically like your Ambessa replacement when you don't have Vi. And I would just trench. I would tell the. I would even consider telling the Vladimir here, like you just need a trench coat Sterak's holder like now. You don't have one.
So you sell GP too? Like just sell
No,
everybody?
no. GP makes the board. GP is your Corki. GP2 is your backliner, and you need
Okay.
a Sterak's, which is the Vi here, right?
Okay, so you're removing the Sterax and like selling the Vlad and just Vi is your Ambessa holder and GP is your Corki holder.
Yeah, I don't when I'm playing Emissary, I do click on several units, but I don't really settle on I don't really click on LeBlanc that much. I really only click on one Elise just in case I find a Jace for 4 form swapper. The extra GP here is clogging your bench. I think Ilawi is fine, but like I'm like spending all my time trying to find obviously the 4 emissary units. Besides that, a stage 4 holder for Sterak's trench coat. And before I find that, I'm selling all this garbage until I find that.
Which should right now be Savika even over Vi, right?
Is that true? I don't think so.
No?
I don't think is Trenchcoat Savika even good? I'm not sure. I haven't seen anyone play that. I buy is like quite good as Sterak's Trenchcoat holder. I don't know if Savika is that good. It might be, but I don't know. Let me look in the stats. The stats it's gonna be hard to see in the stats because it's like not a commonly made thing, but it looks okay in the stats. Trench coat. It might be. It might be okay. I'll definitely hold the Vi though. I don't think it's okay to not hold the Vi.
Okay.
Because even though you might settle on Savika for a bit as your trench coat Sterak's holder, Vi 2 is hittable, whereas Savika 2 from this spot is not.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is, and I guess this is also the inverse of the last game that we reviewed. Last game I made the mistake of not holding the units that would make the current strongest board, and then here I feel like what you're saying is it's worth sacrificing the strongest current board to just have more gold to roll for the board I want.
Oh, it's not even the board that you want. It's the items that you have. Like, yes, you want the 4 emissary board, but like sometimes you settle for random trash with like Vi that's not 4 emissary. But like my concern here is not even that we're not getting to the board. It's that you don't have a suitable item holder, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like to me, this board is not acceptable to stop on.
It's just I don't have enough gold. So you're saying you would have sold the Elise and the LeBlanc, even though it seems that that would be a stronger board right now than if I rolled and missed everything.
Oh, you have the Vi here. I don't think so. I don't think that Elise and LeBlanc naked are like your board is more than it is this Black Rose thing. Your strongest board is your board is a Sterak's Trenchcoat board. At least that's what your setup is, right?
Yeah.
Your setup is Sterak's Trenchcoat, and so we need. And for me, having an item holder at 4/2 takes precedence over basically everything.
Okay. Do you ever then frontline the GP and move this trench coat with the Sterex to the front?
I don't think GP is a suitable Sterak's. That's why, like, yeah, I was like, if you believe Savika is, then we should have moved it. But like, for me, all my APM would have been used on getting this holder, and that's why I'm like talking about selling stuff to get to that spot. Just like I think it's just the priority in my mind should be like, as soon as 4-2 starts, like where number one, like I'm uncontested. Obviously, there was like the wait a little bit, but after that, it's like, okay, where is my Sterak's trenchcoat holder ASAP? I would have immediately removed the the Vlad, the Sterak's on the GP, and like just get the guy. And typically that is Vi or Ambessa. And if you believe it can be Savika, then yeah, Savika, sure. But one of those 3, which you will hit one of those. If you miss all of them, then roll again the next turn, I guess. try again. But like you're gonna hit one of those, which you did, right? We had to buy here.
And in that case, let's say you play the Vi, are you playing just um this trench coat and Sterex, or are you putting a third item on? Because then you're burning two
Given
removers,
that
right?
you took yeah, you could put the last whisper on, like if we had a lot of removers, you could put the last whisper on the fire as well, right? Like, you just multiply more items on this trench coat guy, and then you move the last whisper off eventually. I don't know if I have enough time to think about that, but I think optimally you would stack all the items in that unit and then move it eventually. Because I do agree that you kind of want the GA on it.
Yeah.
I think the stats actually prefer double Sterax over GA, but I find the GA it's hard to say. I feel like the GA one looks really annoying and it's really annoying to face sometimes. But when you play with that GA, sometimes it doesn't pop. Like the trench coat doesn't pop because the Ambessa like runs away, and then it actually kind of sucks. But it's kind of RNG. Whereas the double Sterax uh, has less variance, but it sucks into certain matchups. Is the issue, because then your trench coat clones will just die to random AoE.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This guy's setup is so bad though that it didn't matter. I think his artifactory was bad or something happened here. This guy's tricksters on his 3-star carry.
Did you just open Cell LeBlanc in
I'm
Elysium?
open selling with Blanc and yeah, removing Vladimir, and there's this dead Ilawi on the board, right? I mean, he is paired, but like here you could have a Loris. I've settled on this board every now and then. Like you have Sentinel with Enforcer with a Vi. You have a Loris, you have Sentinel, you have Pit Fighter with GP, you have some of the emissary units on your bench. You're playing one of them. Maybe you play like Corky and Tristana, or you could play the Garen. Just depends. But yeah, the issue here is just we're it's 4-3 and we're still trench coat Vladimir.
Right.
It's just for me. It's not even worth playing the strongest board. It's just let me find the guy. I mean, you have Ambessa here, so
Do you take the Ambessa for the cloak, or do you still
you have to do it.
you have to
Yeah.
over like another Sterex or GA?
You have to, in my mind. Like you can't not. Because I mean, who are we putting it on? We're putting it on no one. I mean, Ambessa 2 with 2 items is probably better than Ambessa 1 with 3. I think. I don't know. You just need the guy. Oh yeah, you have to solo frontline this.
Oh,
With GA you really have to solo frontline this now.
okay.
I don't know if I have a VOD of this thing going off, but I mean this guy is fast 9, so it doesn't matter. This is probably a tank Garen anomaly then. How many Garens are out? And are we settling on this Ilawi for a while?
I think no. I don't. I want to say I scouted, but also I'm just like poor as fuck, and I need Ambessas, right?
Yeah, it's just okay. I mean, it's just hard to. If it's on Ilawi, then
Like my cap of this game is pretty low anyway, right? Like
yeah, I guess I can see it. It's just so sad, but yeah, okay.
because if I put it on Garen and I miss, even if Garen's uncontested, I don't have any gold to hit. Like I could easily miss, right?
I'm not truly convinced that a Garen 1 with 4 like a proper board is weaker than a no rebel 2 sentinel stoneplate sunfire Alawi thing, but I guess I think yeah, that's why I'm thinking I could take this anomaly pro on the Garen, but maybe that's insane. I'm not sure. I'm not truly convinced that this Alawi is that strong.
Okay. And I'm not even playing 2 Sentinel.
Yeah, it's like not optimal eventually, and it also is not even. I'm not even sure if it's like that much better now. I mean, yeah, it is right now. It is better, but
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think this anomaly decision happens a lot for me too, where I'll put on what's strong right now, especially when I feel like I'm not very healthy and poor. Uh,
Mhm.
but yeah, eventually I want to get out of this Alawi, right?
Yeah, it just depends on placement you're playing. I mean, I would say ideally don't be in these spots where you have to really get so. But if you are in spots like these, then I mean, one, like make sure to look and see. I mean, you have 7 gold, so it makes it harder to even care about how contested Garen is because regardless, you have 7 gold. But like, obviously, you know, the fewer Garens are that are out, you can still put this on Garen. You're still gonna hit by 5-1 with high odds. What else? I mean, I have done this and I've put anomalies on 2-star 3 cost that I don't even intend to 3-star because I don't have a 4 cost, and I think that it's fine in some spots where you really are screwed. Um,
Let me actually look at the game history to see if anyone was contesting Garen. Um, no, nobody was.
if nobody, then I feel like I
Okay,
mean
then.
you're likely still 2 lives next stage, right? So like even if you really miss the Garen by 5, like you'll still by 5-2. It's probably like 85 to 90% of the time you'll hit the Garen too,
Mhm.
is my guess. If you are truly uncontested.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
This Alawi is also so expensive. Like I want to sell this to find the guys. Oh.
Are you still rolling here?
I
And it's probably Rel over Vlad if I'm playing Anomaly Alawi.
you do have a lot of resistance on it already, I guess. So maybe it's fine not. Let's see how good this Savika is. They're all casting. How much damage did no wait, they look pretty abysmal, no? Look at the damage in the right. I mean
Yeah.
not abysmal, but like it's a little underwhelming. To be fair, this guy's board is strong as hell. Okay, never mind. He's on best of 2. So this person is really strong.
I guess the value of Vi with 3 of them is the stun value.
Yeah. Yeah, Vi is typically like the I would say this looks to me like you haven't played this trench coat emissary or this emissary line uh, all that much, or at least I haven't watched people play it, or the combination
Yeah.
of those two, such that you're like getting a little lost with like the units to hold and not hold. And everyone obviously has like different exact priorities of what to hold and not hold, but oh, you have Jace. Now it's just 4 form. What is it, 4 form swapper? You don't have a Swain yet. But now it's so hard to transition this board because we don't have a because you're stuck with this Alawi. Oh man. Yeah, see, like you have a lot of the units in place now to kind of play a board. We didn't hold the Swain, slash you got really unlucky and didn't find one. But like there is some interim board here where you can play like a Vi non-emissary and still squeeze out a top 4. 4 form swapper, like Vi gives you pit fighter. You find a way, like you get Sentinel in. Actually, you could fit that. It's 4 form swapper. That's 4 units. I think I played this before. Vi, Pit Fighter, 5. And then you play you'd have a Corki 2 though, so it's a little hard to fit. But I don't even know if Corki 2 is better than
Jace
Jace
1.
1. Yeah. If anything, I think Jace 1 is better when you have 4 form swapper. And then you do 2 Sentinel. You can actually fit it here. Right? You play Loris. Loris Alawi, Enforcer for your Vi. I don't know if you had Vi 2 though, to be fair. I think you only saw 1. But yeah.
Wait, let me try to put this in the team planner so I don't get lost because I'm already lost.
But yeah, the packages are basically 4 form swapper. That's one package, right? Which you can always play when you're playing this AD line.
Okay.
And then you always click on Vi when you're playing. So GP is like basically the core of this line, this whole line. You always play GP. So Vi always goes on the board if you find Vi, especially upgraded, almost always. And then
your Vi is typically going to be paired with TF if you're playing Ambessa, right? And if you're not playing Ambessa, so here, yeah, and then if you find 4 emissary as well, you're having to decide what to drop, right?
Right, but so
And if you
here
don't find
I
4
already
emissary,
have Garen too, but
you didn't have the Ambessa, right? And so then you had the Vi, but you didn't have the Ambessa, which is why I would have been more likely to play around not 4 emissary, just like raw Garen as an upgraded unit. And you didn't have the 4 emissary, right? So it was more so like this, yeah. And then you didn't even have the Garen, right? You had Ilawi first, right?
yeah, I mean
So it
now
would
I
have
have
been
to
more
play
like
Lowy.
yeah, it would have been more like you take out the TF, and you play
Loris.
like Loris and Ilawi there. Wait, you could
Keep
fit
the
the Garen.
Garen.
You can fit the Garen, right? You could, yeah. It's a random upgraded Garen,
Okay,
and
so
then you
then
just
it's
backline. You could backline. In this board you probably frontline the Elise just because it will cast. I think depending on the items you have, but you could have played something like this, right? And you solo frontline the Vi for the trench coat.
Everyone
Something
else
like this.
third row.
Or
then this has to be
at least
second
has to be second. Yeah, something like this is what I think I've played this quite a few times. Like, this is just like one of the things you could be forced to play depending on your roll down, especially when you're as poor as you were, right?
So, and you're saying the Jace one's better than the Corky 2? Even though
Well, given that it's hard to fit just on this board without, like, because you don't even have artillerist, this board in my mind, the Jace is better. But if you had the Ambessa on the board, then it's easy to play Tristana on the board. Then it's a lot easier to play the Corki on the board, right?
because I did just hit the Ambessa. That's Ambessa 1.
Yeah. I don't know how many Vi's how many Vi's did you find? I think only one, right?
Yeah, I think
Do you have
so.
the matches?
Let's see. Also,
And basically, when you're playing this trench coat line, if you don't two-star either Ambessa or Vi, you're 8th already. But
right.
your whole game is to hit one of those 2-starred. Ideally, both. Maybe not ideally both, but at least one.
Corky has an open bow right now that if I moved it to the Jace, it would not get scrapped.
Oh, I see. So you at least scrap it into an item. So maybe Corky is better then in this sense. But yeah, I'm curious your Vi. You just do yeah. I'm not sure if you've used the looks like you never found it. It looks like you can also use the 4 cost tab. I'm not sure if you click on it, but like you click on the, so if you go down, like it's below the chart, right to the right where your mouse is. Just click on 4 cost, yeah, and then you can see all the stuff you kind of hit. 1 star, and then it'll not show you the 2 stars, but yeah, it looks like if you look, you're super low rolled the 2 units you really needed. Your Ambessa was the most low roll 4 cost out of all the 4 costs, and then you also low rolled by. So you kind of got, I mean, the fact that you pull out a 4th, which you can watch the rest of it here, is still is pretty good. But
wait, I switch the window back. Wait, actually, really quickly for the team planner. Oh, wait, never mind. Okay, never mind. I have the window back for you properly.
Yeah.
I should still be solo frontlining the Ambessa, right? Even if it's 1 star.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure this Vladimir should be a quick striker. If you have 3 items on the Ambessa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it has to be, right? Because this Vladimir is just Watcher Zork. I feel like it has to be. You already have Garen frontline and Ilawi frontline.
Is Quick Striker more valuable than Conqueror? Because Rel gives me both Conqueror and Sentinel.
Yeah, Quick Striker, if you look at the AS, it's insane, right? It's but it's at 30 to 60 AS. It's so much. It's like one of those traits that, like, with and without it, your unit doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Your quick striker units. 2 is 20 to 60% AS. Right? That's so much. Conqueror is like 10 AD and AP. It's basically nothing.
Okay. Eventually
you
got
lose-
the LW.
I guess you can level for a quick striker here, or
Is it level or is it roll for Ambessa 2?
How much gold did we have? 50. No Ambessa pair. It's like
I think
given your
this,
HP.
this is around expectation to hit 2 copies, right?
Yes, it is, but like you can miss. Like leveling is guaranteed strength, but rolling is like 60% odds of strength.
Right.
My guess-
Especially with 1 loss, or I could be on 1 life, and with 3 other players on 1 life, like it probably makes sense to take the lower variance play.
It depends how you want to play it, but yeah, I tend to level here. I'm never sure if that's like truly optimal for AVP, but yeah, here I would level. It's just because 1 life, it's like, okay, I just would feel bad if I rolled miss. That's bad logic, but like I feel like, man, if I rolled miss and then went 5th, I would feel so bad. I could have just pressed F.
Yeah, pressing F is so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, again, it's another I guess it's a mix of traits and like understanding the value of traits, but like leveling for a rel here instead of, or like having both rel and Vlad on the board instead of having a DPS trait for your Sterax Trenchcoat here. Yeah, I just feel like you clearly like are wanting more DPS here because your items right now are, your units and items are way more towards like not having enough DPS. Then you have a lot of frontline, right?
Yeah.
Your Anomalies frontline, you have a Vlad too, you have a Garen too, you have a Trickster even.
Which is the same core idea as last game that we were talking about.
Yeah, I think just think through more like the units that you have on the board and like balancing what your next in is or what your current best ends are around like what are you lacking, right? And I think that mindset, just watching more good players, they verbalize that a lot. They'll just say, my board sucks. My board is lacking. I have no DPS. I have no. Just try to like scrutinize your board at every chance you can get, and try to ask like, what is my board really lacking here? And that is what will help you decide what units to put, what traits to put, right?
Yeah. Okay. There should be rel and TF over the Vlad.
Yeah, one of those. Like I could see an argument to be made for probably because you have three item Malawi, rel is slightly better. So then Sork is fake, and then TF over the Vlad is probably better just because you don't have, I mean, this guy clears your board, right? Mord too. Would you scam a 4th? Everyone dies in 5. That's an early. Wow, that's a super early 4th. 5/5.
Which
Everyone dies.
I guess.
Oh no, never mind. It's powder encounter. That's why. Yeah, everyone is minus 10.
Ambessa 2 wouldn't have even won this. I was dead anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe you could have taken a 3rd, but like, I would say your 4-2 roll down could have been. Wasn't an easy turn. You didn't have that much gold, but like, I would say that to me, starting like stage 4 stood out as like not that. Let's see, we rolled here 4. Boom. As soon as I rolled to here, I would have already started open selling a bunch of these units.
Oh,
like,
right.
I would sell the set. I would sell the Cassiopeia. I would sell the Ziggs. I'd sell the Draven. I'd sell the extra Vlad. Because you already know that like 50 HP, your board is not a board worth playing around. Like Black Rose is not a trait worth playing around with these items. Vlad like barely makes this board, if ever. Like okay, maybe that's not true because you're quite poor, but yeah, I'm just like, okay, where is my Serax trenchcoat holder? That's like the first thing I'm looking for.
Okay. Which the
And then I
main
think
thing was once I found the Vi.
Like here, if you were able to convince yourself to trenchcoat Starax the Civica earlier. But I'm surprised why you didn't do it here. You think it's mostly just the APM thing? You ran out of time? Or...
I think I did it later because I found the GA and I had 3 items.
Oh, you had 3 items to put on it. But right now you didn't feel like you had 3 items, and so then...
Yeah. And I wasn't sure if it was worth... Because I would need to burn 2 removers to get it onto either Civica or Vi. And then if I put a Last Whisper or an IE or whatever, then I would have to burn 3.
Remover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fair. That's fair. I was even considering BT, to be honest, as a 3rd item.
Yeah,
because
I was thinking about
and then
that
you'd
too.
have 3 items already. Gotcha.
I mean, that probably would have been better, right? Just slam BT right now. Although, then I just have a random BT that's not doing anything later.
You would have to play double melee, which is fine. Right? You go Vi and Bessa, and then your backline starts to be a little odd, but like it could just be a Last Whisper, right? Or you Last Whisper the Vi even, something like that.
So if you're playing Vi and Mbessa, then you're not playing Corki?
So you drop one. If you're on 8, you drop one of it's like you drop one of Swain, Corki, or Vi. Sometimes if you don't even have Mbessa upgraded and no items, you can drop the TF. Yeah. Usually it's one of those 4. You're dropping either Swain, Corki, Vi, or TF on 8. And then on 9, you bring him back. Usually. Unless you find like a 4-form swapper and then you like kind of pivot half your board.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and then the AVP of this line, I would say, is quite a bit lower in non-high resource. I feel like the times I forget that this line is way more of a high resource game, my scores of this line start to become complete trash. But then again, like it's hard to play other lines with AD unless you believe in Twitch, which I think with certain augments is not as unplayable. But
so would you have not even taken Dark Alley Dealings then? Like if we are working under the assumption that Emissary is just really hard to play in low resource portals?
Your other options were not very inspiring though, from what I remember. It was like Tiniest Titan. Yep, Ezreal. And then it was the Zeke's augment. Like, I don't think I would have rolled it either. I
forget what my board was at this point.
You did have the Garen. What was convincing you is you had the Garen.
Yeah.
And you have these units. You had the Zoe. And you have Econ as well. Imagine you didn't slam this stone plate. Ha! If you didn't slam this stone plate, you know what you have, right? You have Titans VT. Or you have GA. Like you have carry items.
Yeah.
And you have direction. Doesn't it just go back to the stone plates? I mean, you maybe.
But I would have wanted to preserve streak here, right? Like even if I didn't slam in stage 2.
If you didn't slam on stage 2.
I mean, I guess I could just slam BT Titans on Vlad.
Yeah, you could just put it there. I feel like your items became like Stoneblade is so bad in Emissary. I mean, yeah, there's a world where this Stoneblade slam was necessary to get you the 3 streak, but like it fucked your direction quite a bit, right?
Yeah, and I lost this anyway, so yeah, BT Titans.
Yeah, you could have even decided to not slam here again, right? Like I don't know if that's correct, but you could have no slam 2-6, 2-7, and then you wait for augment, and then you decide your slams based on your augment. But now, like your augment is conditional on no direction.
So let's say I had BT Titans available, how would that have changed this decision? Because BT Titans would actually be worse for Dark Alley Tealings, right? Or I guess if I didn't slam it, then I would have GA at least.
Yeah, you'd have GA. Artifactory starts to. Is that even true? Not really. I guess you could take art.
Yeah, I could
What
take
was Art again?
Artifactory and like go hope I could hit a Nocturne angle.
A little sus because there's not that many item drops, but. Hmm.
Because what other line would I have taken besides Emissary here? I'm just trying to figure out like what. Given that Emissary is not a good low resource portal line, I
Typically,
don't
it's like
know what else I would have done.
Academy with Artillerist backline. Like Sentinel Corky is a reasonable line to play. You had Sword, Chain, Bow, Cloak, and Sunfire. Uh,
So then I should have held this Ezreal and played towards Academy. Or even Rebel. Like I
It's
could
hard to
have.
slap anything though with those items. I feel like I'd be a bit more down to still play towards Emissary, but then I at least would be playing it from a better spot. I think I would have likely still taken the trench coat and not been super happy about it, but hey, at least I don't have at least I'm like not stone plate.
Okay, so the big thing is not slamming the stone plate, but you would have still gone towards Emissary.
Given these augment options, I think so. And then again, I'm not trying to say that like, you know, this stone plate slam. No, I would never have made this. I'm just saying like you didn't even give yourself the option to because you just slammed it for no reason on 2-6 or 2-5. So I'm just trying to like show you what would be possible if you like you know played it like you know if you just give yourself that chance on 2-5 to not slam, see if you need it to win the round, see if you win it again on 2-6. I feel like Dish Soap of most top players I know does that really well. He rarely is like randomly slamming stuff for like I think Setsuko actually is does this. He just because he's on stream he just slams. He doesn't even see his matchup. He's just already slamming the items.
Uh-huh.
And likely if he's playing more seriously, he wouldn't do that. But Dish Soap even on stream will not make that will optimize better in that sense.
Okay, so to summarize my learnings, I should really be leaning towards Emissary more on a high resource portal. Don't slam the early game unless I really have to. What else did I miss?
On the 4-2 roll down, I
the
would
Vi.
say, yeah, when you're playing lines that are like, you really need specific item holders for the line for the setup that you have, right? Which is this trench coat Sterax. You should be kind of willing to sell a lot of stuff to find those things.
Okay,
in my
so I
opinion.
should open sell on 4-2 roll down to simplify and
The trash, yeah.
gold to actually hit.
Yeah, and just like have more in your mind, like what am I playing around, and go towards that instead of and make sure that obviously make sure that it's not just one unit, and unless your spot is so specific. But for a 4-cost roll down, usually like the line is high EV when it's about 2 or 3, which in this case it would be Vi and Bessa, right?
Right. And then the other thing is being more proactive, thinking about balancing front and back line, asking myself, what do I need or what am I lacking? And using that to guide what units to put in and
what traits, you
what
want.
traits, right?
Yeah. 2 quick striker is just I think Asa has been the one that made that clearest to me in terms of it's a lot of stats as a 2 trait, which is why like it's more top of mind for me to be like I have Ambessa, I need this trait because it's been sort of mentioned quite a few times already by Asa in particular. As like, yeah, look at this trait. It's 60% AS as a which is insane, right? What other trait is giving you as a 2-piece 60% AS? That doesn't really exist in TFT.
Right.
So you need this trait for
I
your
forget
guy.
what triggers the range or like how does the game
Based on
decided.
targets missing health. They also move faster, so it's also more uptime on your unit. So it gives you so much. Actually, I'm not sure actually if you need the trait for them to move faster. It's possible they just have it normally as a passive, regardless of whether they are the trait is active. But for sure, the AS to get the AS you need the 2-piece.
Okay, so that also means because it's based on missing health, you want to really focus fire on whoever Mbessa is targeting.
Yes, although with trenchcoat especially, you don't really get to do that. But yeah, I think
okay.
optimally yes.
Okay, and then I also should be solo frontlining the trench coat holder.
Yes, at least that's what I've seen. I mean, it's possible, and that's what I tend to do because of that. But
I was
that
thinking
one is
that
very hard to get stats for.
Yeah, I was thinking that because I have the double Garens, that I could give the trench coat holder more HP, so that like when they split, they have more HP. Um, but then I guess it kind of creates these weird moments in the fight where everybody dies except for the Mbessa, and then they start targeting my backline carry first before my Mbessa's like uh, taking aggro again.
What I find really OP is that obviously the stats it gives you a lot of high HP. Like the HP is not even low in the clones, such that you're playing the fight like 11v8, right? But if your trench coat dies later into the fight, where you never get that advantage, it doesn't feel nearly as broken. The other advantage too is that they tend to the ambassadors tend to just run to the back line.
Right.
But yeah, you really want to leverage that 11v8. You want to abuse that aspect of it, and to do that more reliably, you solo frontline.
Okay, so here, like, if I had solo frontline the Mbessa, I would have a few more units in the front line that would then hold down the fort longer while Mbessa is able to attack. Is kind of the logic.
Yeah, you just have more units doing DPS. Your opponent's aggro is split like 10 ways.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's just like all the advantages of like you're just up 3 levels on your opponent, right? With and all your units, all your little shitters have items on them. So it's just you're just plus 3 levels. But if they die later, then it's no longer the case.
Okay. Sense.
In addition to the whole like the jumping to backline BS, of course, which also happens more often when you're solo frontline, right? Because sometimes if the thing pops really early or like sometimes the back line of your opponents will like walk up a little bit or stuff like that when you're solo frontline.
Mm-hmm. And so you would prefer the rest of your board to be third row or second row? I guess if it's a lease, you have to be second row, but in general, it'd be third row for the rest of your units.
I think so. Yeah, that's what I've seen. But it depends, because if you're playing form swappers that you want the front line, then it starts to be like not even Elise, but like GP Swain. Sometimes you want them both front line depending on your setup, your Garen items and upgrades. So as long as your trench coat guy is in the front and everything else is second or back, I think you're way more likely to have this 11v8 scenario. The Edge of Night sometimes screws with that, but Edge of Night is so busted on the unit that on the clones that it's just worth dealing with that element of RNG, I think. Because sometimes what can happen, worst case scenario, is that the Edge of Night procs and then like the Mesa runs away and it doesn't pop the trench coat until way later. But I think you're willing to deal with that RNG. Just because sometimes the 3 clones can get popped if they don't have Edge of Night on them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But to be fair, a lot of this will change again because they're nerfing the shit out of
Right.
trench coats very soon.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully a lot of this sort of logic is still useful for us moving forward.
Okay. Anything else that I missed as far as key takeaways?
I can't recall any anymore. I guess we missed the 2-1 for this game, but trying to think. I don't think there's much. Yeah, just the packages, I guess. Like, be a little more aware of packages for the lines you're playing for form swapper. I mean, a lot of that's just effort, though. To be fair, and obviously you already said you're not like super up to speed with this patch, so that's fine. But yeah, I would say if you really want to like improve on a given line or like play emissary more, or like if you feel like your scores are doing poorly with one line, I mean, it goes back to the thing I've already mentioned in a previous video, which is like look at people's match histories, see who's playing given lines well, try to watch their VODs. That can be insightful for you. The emissary line, for me, my scores improved a lot with this when I watched Setsuko play it more, which is funny because then eventually his score started to drop so much with this line that he missed snapshots randomly, and he decided to stop playing this line quite so much. But somehow it was working for me. But then eventually my scores dipped with it as well. So like there's probably something that I'm not truly doing optimally with it as well. But yeah, just my whole long-winded thing there is just like to improve at a line, try to see who has good scores of it, and try to emulate what they're doing or understand what they're doing that you're not if your scores aren't so good with it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good then.